You are now welcome to the computer hardware maintenance and repair solution for the tutorial problem in the year 2025. So if you have not seen the question, you can check on the channel. You will see these tutorial problems that were posted earlier, and we posted the tutorial problem. Now we want to give the solution to the tutorial problems now, so that those that have practiced the problem can also learn the solution to the problems. So we had 3 problems over there, and then we want to handle the 3 problems now. So let's bring out the problem, the solution that has been prepared. We have the solution here prepared. The first question was about the beep code of the computer system. When you are booting a computer system and then you have beep codes. So the question asks to write the meaning of each beep code listed and how it can be cleared. So the first beep code is a single beep. A single beep. Alright? So we have a single beep, and when you hear a single beep, when the computer is booting during POST, during the power on self-test, it means everything is okay in the system unit. But if the computer does not boot on, it means that the problem may be with monitor data cable, or problem within the monitor. So to clear that, you can tighten the monitor data cable at both sides, and then if that does not solve the problem, you can test with another cable. Otherwise, there may be a problem within the monitor itself, why the computer is not showing, why your desktop is not showing, even though there was only single beep. A single beep means everything was in order during the POST, so we should have a display on the monitor. But if there is no display, then we should check all these other areas mentioned. That was for the first one. And the second one, we have one continuous long beep. Continuous long beep. For continuous long beeps, it may indicate that there's a problem with RAM or motherboard. So for that reason, we can check the RAM, whether the RAM is properly installed. So you can restore the RAM. You can also test your RAM on another system, or test with another RAM on your own system. Now, if another RAM is not available, then you may not be able to proceed. If you test your own RAM on another system and it doesn't work, that means you need to bring another RAM in. You need to get another RAM and check, test it with your own system, whether the problem will be resolved. And that means the RAM has been damaged. So if the RAM has been damaged, then you can replace the RAM with another one. But if the RAM is working well, there may be a problem within the motherboard. The motherboard may need to be checked. Sometimes maintenance of the motherboard may resolve the matter. By cleaning the motherboard thoroughly, you may be able to resolve the problem. Now let's look at the third beep. The third beep is a complex one. One long and 2 or 3 short beeps. So that is the third one. If you have one long, then 2 or 3 short beeps, then the problem is within the display card of the system, or perhaps the motherboard. So how do we clear this? You can clean and restore the display card, and if the problem is not solved, then you can also test your display card on another system and test with another card on your system. If you have another card, swap the one on your system with another one and check whether the problem will be resolved. If the problem is not resolved, that means the motherboard has a problem. Now, the display card has been damaged, you need to replace with another. But if the display is working, then there will be a problem within the motherboard. And if the onboard display, if it is onboard display, then you can clear the CMOS. Then if that does not solve it, the onboard GPU has failed. That's the meaning. So you can install add-on graphics card to resolve the problem. You can install add-on graphic card. So that is how you handle this long beep and 2 or 3 short beeps. And this is what we mean. something like that. So you can actually resolve that in that manner. And number two asks us to give a brief discussion on the following items in the soldering, the following parts of soldering, that is soldering, solder, and flux. Okay. For solder, number one, solder is a special alloy made of tin and lead, and there's another one that is free of lead. And you carry out soldering by means of this solder, which is an alloy. So it is melted with the soldering iron, and it is transferred to the joint for electrically holding together wires and components at the joints. And then the tin lead solder is having a composition of 60-40%, and then there is the lead free solder. The commercial solder nowadays is the lead free type, is not the solder type, but the solder type is still used by individuals, hobbies, and so on and so forth. Then soldering itself is used to join wires or attach components to a printed circuit board (PCB). That is accomplished by heating the components together. They are laid together on the PCB pad with a soldering iron and metal solder to the joint. Soldering is carried out with the aid of soldering iron and solder. Then wires and leads and tracks on circuit boards are made of copper, and so when the solder come into contact with them, molten solder, then it can actually hold them together, right, to form a joint. Now, flux. Electrical soldering for both solder wire and solder paste contain flux. Alright, and there are also type of chemical compound called flux that is applied to parts that will be soldered to clean the surfaces that is being soldered, and then it also prevents oxidation of the hot solder when it gets into contact with the parts being soldered, the metallic parts being soldered. So that is the use of flux. Alright, it's quickly dissolved by heat and then wipes off any dirt at the points being soldered. So that is it. Then the last question asks us to determine the power rating of a power supply unit for a system that is about to be installed with these parts. You see the power rating given here, and then we need to determine the total power rating for that particular system, for the power supply unit for the system. We have the AGP card 20 to 30 watts, PCI card 5 watts, SCSI PCI card 20 to 25, network interface card 4 watts. Then we have CD-ROM drive 10 to 25 watts. We have 4 GB RAM, and then each is the RAM, they are consuming 2.2 watts per 128 MB. Then hard drive 12 watts, motherboard without CPU or RAM 20 to 30 watts, 2 sets of CPU 30 each. So these are the data given. Alright, so now we choose the highest. In anyone that has a range, we choose the highest value. So we can see from here, you can see the table for the first part, we chose 30 for the AGP card, 5 watts for the PCI card. The other PCI card we chose 25, which is the highest for the range. Network interface card 4 watts. Then for the CD-ROM drive we chose 25. For the 4 GB RAM, what we do is that we determine how many 128 MB in 1 gig, and you could see that in 1 gig we have 8 128 MB, and then we have 4 gig. So 8 multiplied by 4 gig, as you can see in the solution here, 8 multiplied by 4 gig, okay, you can see it here, then multiplied by 2.2 watts that each of 128 MB consume. So the total is 70.4. Now the HDD, we have 12 watts, motherboard without any CPU or RAM, we choose the highest 30, and the 2 sets of CPU we have 30, so we can we can say 2 multiplied by 30, that is 60. That's the highest that they will consume. That's 60 watts. So we sum up all of this, we get 261.4 watts, as you can see. Now for a new system that is about to be installed, we need to actually add 25% more of this value to it, so that we can have this last row here, 261.4 plus 0.25 times 261.4, and that gives us 326.75 watts. Now 326.75 watts is what we got, so we could not go to market and be looking for 326.75. So we choose an approximate value, and that is 350 watts. So for the design, it is good to buy a 350 watts power supply unit for the computer to be installed. I hope you get it now. So that is how what we have here. So that is it. Now we cannot go to the market and buy. We cannot go to the market and be looking for 326.75 watts. Rather, we go to the nearest approximate value, that is 350 watts. Or perhaps if you can find 340 watts in market, but 350 watts will be better for the purpose. So the design is arriving at 350 watts power supply units, and that is the answer. So if you got that, you have got about 20 points. About 20 points for the tutorial problem solution. So don't forget to like and share this video and make comments so that I can respond to your comments on the channel. Until another time, I wish to see you again. So I say bye bye.